It's a thankless job, but these people are willing to do it. I just want to give you some quick ground rules for how we are operating here. During the forum, we start with a 2-minute introduction from each of the candidates. The order was determined by lot ahead of time, and then there's going to be a 2-minute closing statement. In between, there will be all the candidates answering all the questions that we have time for. Each candidate has 1.5 minutes to answer each question. The timers are going to put up yellow tags, if you can see the yellow tag, when there is 30 seconds left for the 90-second statement. You'll get 2 yellow tags for the opening and closing statements because they're 2 minutes. And then when you see a red card, then you should stop. You can finish the sentence or the thought, but no filibustering, please. We have a lot of candidates and a lot of questions. There will be no rebuttals. This is a forum, not a debate. And so the audience should be the focus of the candidates' attention, not the other candidates. Following the forum, if the candidates are willing to stick around, there's an opportunity to talk to them individually, those of you who would like to do that. We ask that you try to keep your emotional responses to the candidates to a minimum while they're trying to speak. We'll treat them all with respect. And then you can at the end of the conversation, have applause at the end of the night, but not necessarily for every individual candidate speech. That would take up too much time. So we chose by lot. The first person who will give the 2-minute speech will be Joy Crump in the candidate in Ward 2. And what we'll do is we'll go down this way and then back around to the front. So we will do the 2 candidates from Ward 2, then Ward 3, then Ward 4, and then Ward 1 in the order that they're seated. Each question will alternate in terms of the ward, and I will just basically say this question is directed first to this person, and then we'll go through the same order from left to right from my angle for the questions. Everybody clear on the procedure here? Everybody clear about everything? Let's do it. Joy Crump, 2 minutes for your introductory statement.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can't hear me. My name is Joy Crump, and I have lived. You can't hear me? No. Stop the clock. Can you hear me?
The microphone's working, you just have to be close to it.
Sorry, guys. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Let me get up in here.
Now the 2 minutes start.
Okay. All right. My name is Joy Crump, and I have lived in Ward 2 for the past 15 years. I own 2 businesses, and that makes I employ about 50 employees. I own a home. That home has an ADU, and that ADU is being rented currently by another small business owner. I have personally purchased and renovated 4 historically significant properties in Fredericksburg, including the one where I live and the buildings that house my businesses. I have an older sister who lives with her husband in College Heights, and she has plans to age in place there. That makes me very, very happy and excited to watch that happen. Those 50 employees that I spoke to you about at my business are college students, they are graduates, they are single parents, they're formerly unhoused, they're unhoused, they are trans, and they teach me pretty much everything I know on a daily basis. I am a woman, I'm black, I'm a business owner, I am practically middle-aged. I'm a preservationist, environmentalist, a landlord, a tenant, a homeowner, an investor in Fredericksburg. I've been broke, and now I'm comfortable again. I own a car, I bike, I walk, I teach classes, and I volunteer. I am up close and personal with all the things that matter to Ward 2 because they are me, and that makes me uniquely qualified to be the next city council person.
I
do, okay. I can show.
Good evening. Oops. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Good evening. My name is Ann Little. First of all, thank you for having this forum for us. I think that the League of Women Voters do a tremendous job. and I know we all appreciate it. So before I moved to Fredericksburg, I was the owner of a small business, sales and marketing company. I had a team of 50 people, and we covered the 5 mid-Atlantic states from southern New Jersey down to Virginia. We represented about 20 different manufacturers to major retailers like Costco, Giant Foods, Macy's. Then my husband Carl and I moved to Fredericksburg. I started to volunteer for our community. I'd like to tell you a few examples of what I've done over the last few years. The first thing I did was I led the Friends of the Rappahannock campaign that placed the 4,200 acres of riverfront land into permanent conservation easement. I served on the original Trails Committee that created over 19 miles of hiking and biking trails. I worked with Main Street and brought volunteers to install and maintain the 35 planters downtown, and we maintained them for 10 years. I helped establish the City of Fredericksburg Clean and Green Commission and served as chair for 8 years, doing many projects like solar, recycling, composting. I founded Tree Fredericksburg at that same time to restore our urban canopy with over $600,000 in grants that we obtained to plant 10,000 trees with thousands of volunteers. We planted up to 47% of the city's current tree inventory. We've also given away over 60,000 native trees to the public. If you ask people who know me to describe me, they will tell you, Ann gets things done. I would like to get more things done with your support.
Good evening all, Matt Kelly. I came to Fredericksburg to attend Mary Washington College, where I met my wife Cindy. We settled here raising 3 children. We have been renters, homeowners, lived paycheck to paycheck, and now retired. I have learned and experienced a lot and have a lot to share. Community service has been an important part of our lives. Cindy, in addition to being an exceptional wife and mother, was a state and nationally recognized school teacher both in city schools and in Spotsylvania County. I tutored in the city schools, coached youth sports, and helped set up the city's first homeless shelter. I was then honored to serve on the city council at a time where much was accomplished, some being 2 schools, the Rappahannock River easement, award-winning downtown hotel and garage, the first community swimming pool, expanded recycling and composting, and the baseball stadium. The success of these projects came about as a result of active collaboration with the community, considering all perspectives, answering all the questions, and addressing all the concerns. The goal is growing while maintaining Fredericksburg's small town historic character. Today, that active community engagement is lacking, and that goal is being replaced with one that the city needs to become an urban hub. Some examples. City's commitment to residents were ignored as the Mary Landing project went forward. Requests for information, questions, and concerns expressed about data centers were ignored in the rush to approve them. Increasing density throughout the city has been pushed through, with council members belittling community efforts to get information. I am running to bring back a strong collaboration between city government and its residents. They serve to ensure that the future growth complements the city's unique character for all to enjoy. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
Evening. Pretty close, all right. So good evening, my name is Susanna Finn and I am running for Ward 3. So I describe myself in a couple of ways. Number one is I'm a planner. That's what I've dedicated my whole career to, and it's my passion. I have spent my whole professional career trying to make places better for people. So that's how I view myself, and that's really what I do the bulk of the everyday decisions and focus of council, to make good land use decisions in addition to strong financial management. I also view myself as a working mom. I have 2 little girls, one at New Mercer and one who will be as soon as she learns her colors. So I understand also the unique challenges that modern families face to live in Fredericksburg successfully and well. It is becoming a city that is increasingly unaffordable and increasingly challenging to thrive in the way that my family has been able to and very fortunate to. I came to Fredericksburg specifically to study historic preservation in Mary Washington, and through that exercise I realized that the best preservation is done through good planning. And so that's how I try to be every day, is a good planner and a good collaborator, and I think we do well by working together. I think that we are at a time in our community where the interactions that we have with our federal and our state government, it will be different, and we need the best people at the local government who will be able to make decisions that directly support and protect the residents of Fredericksburg, and that's what I aim to do.
Hello, my name is Jesse Dominguez, and I'm running for Ward 4. I have been in Fredericksburg since I was 4 years old. I went all through public city schools, and I have since been back in Fredericksburg since 2021 when I graduated from VCU. I now substitute teach at Gladys West, and a year prior I did at Lafayette. I also work for Parks and Recreation, where I spend most of my time maintaining the parks for you all to enjoy. I volunteer and work for the Fredericksburg Area Museum, as well as being a camera operator for the Fredericksburg Nationals. So I have tried my very best to be as involved in Fredericksburg as I possibly can. I also help contribute to some of the subcommittees for the Arts Commission. My degree was in art, so it's nice that I'm able to continue that love for my arts here in Fredericksburg. I really want to get the whole community together. I see that community organizations are failing, especially in Ward 4, so I would really like to strengthen those and get everybody possible involved. Thank you.
Good evening. I'll ask you guys to respond. Good evening. Good evening. I need some life in the room. So I'm Chuck Fry Jr. Let's see here. For me, let me say a little bit about myself real quick because that's my job right now. I'm a 24-year UPS worker. I'm a 24-year Teamster Union employee. I'm a family man. I'm married. I have 3 now adult kids. When I first ran in 2014, my youngest one was 8 years old. Now he's a junior at William and Mary. So time has been flying. I'm just going to pretty much talk about, let me say this first. For any accomplishments, instead of me going down the list, do me a favor and check the city council minutes. That's where the proof is. I just want to say that. So anything that you want to know about me, check the Fredericksburg City Council meeting minutes. Everything that you need to know about me is there. Whatever I support, whatever I didn't, so on and so forth. I just want to say that. And also, I want to say that I'm proud to run for Ward 4. And the reason why I ran was based on gun violence back in 2014. Since 2014, I've been able to show folks that Fredericksburg wasn't a one-size-fits-all city, okay? And now I want to say that Fredericksburg is a one-size-fits-all city, right? It's a city for everybody, and I believe that the downtown area should be everybody's living room. And if you look around at what's going on in Fredericksburg, I want to say that I played a big part in that, okay? From the removal to the slave block to the inclusion of the African-American history in the city of Fredericksburg is now a fabric of what Fredericksburg is. And I'm happy to say that because now it's time for that. I'm happy to say that I initiated that to get us to where we are today in Fredericksburg. So the Fredericksburg that you love today, I want to say that I'm responsible, okay, for getting us here to where we are today. Thank you.
Hello everybody, hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm David Cropper, and I'd like to say that I am Fredericksburg's native son. I was born here many moons and suns ago at the Fall Hill Mary Washington Hospital. I have a business here. I have multiple rental properties here. I also serve on the board at Los Angeles Hope House. I am the past president of the Realtors Association Foundation, which is a 501c that helps those in our community get into and retain safe and affordable housing. I also work with the Central Virginia Housing Coalition and I'm currently the vice president of the Fredericksburg Coast Lions Club. So my life is basically built around service of others in my community, mainly because service is what has made me who I am today. As a child, living in Fredericksburg, downtown, it was not a very safe place. Back in the 80s, downtown was quite scary. So I've seen the city at its worst, and now I'm seeing it at its best. And I know it can continue to grow and be the very best it can be. And my job is to continue my work of service from the different charities to the city. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kenneth Gann, and I just want to start by saying the moment of silence. It touches me deeply because in about an hour, 24 years ago, I put 150 folks in the sky to head for Kuwait to start defending democracy. And then 30 days later, I took 650 other folks there for about 13 months. So today means quite a bit to me, and I appreciate being here with you, but it started very early this morning, so thank you for that. I'm Kenneth Gann, and I'm a do, did, done kind of person, all right? If you pay attention to me, Village of Idlewild, last 18 years, it's a wonderful place to live. I will tell you homes don't stay on the market long there because people love it. The other thing I will tell you is I am a servant leader, and I like to serve. I enjoy serving. Whether it is the youth football organization that I run, about 2,000 kids, all right, or serving on the planning commission, you know, delivering food boxes. I just like to take care of people. And what I've noticed right now is we need a voice. We need a big voice, all right? And that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be. 20 years ago, I came here to Fredericksburg, and I've watched it. I've participated in it, and I just want you to understand, it's time for us to speak up as a community. So that's why I'm running. That's why I've taken on the challenge, because as a community, there's a lot we can do together, has been done, and we can continue that. So thank you very much.
Good evening. Oh, hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Matt Rowe. First of all, I want to thank the League of Women Voters and the NAACP for hosting this forum this evening, and thank you, Dr. Farnsworth, for moderating. I am a husband. I am a father of 3. I've got 2 kids at FCPS right now. I've got one at Walker Grant Middle School and one at James Monroe High School. I'm the proud father now of a James Monroe graduate who is now attending the University of Mary Washington. So why am I running? So a few reasons. I currently serve on the Fredericksburg City School Board. We manage a budget of in excess of $60 million with many employees that work diligently to educate our children every day. And the duty that's entrusted to the school board is very important. And we take it very seriously. I take it very seriously. And there's a lot of courageous conversations that need to be had, and we have those conversations to try to figure out how to improve student achievement, to make sure that we are paying our teachers well, and to make sure that we are listening to the concerns of all the families that make up the FCPS family. I also currently serve in local government. I work for Stafford County as a GIS administrator, and you might be wondering what is GIS? It is Geographic Information Systems. I'm finding it's a lot easier now to explain what it is. In these years than 10 years ago, a lot more people were asking questions about that, but in general, I work towards making sure that all the spatial data for Stafford County is taken care of, 911, planning and zoning, things like that. So between school board and my job in Stafford, I kind of see local government from 2 different sides. And I think that unique perspective would be very helpful on the city council. Also, I'm an eternal optimist. I always want to see what can Fredericksburg be. And if someone has a good idea about how to improve this community, I want to hear it. I want to have those conversations. I don't want to shut anything down from the get-go. I want to make sure that if anyone wants to bring something to the table, that we have those discussions. We figure out what you can contribute and how we can make that work. I want to find ways to get to yes and not start from no. And then finally, and this one's very important to me, and this is where I am going to do a little bit of audience participation here. Please let me know if you're from Ward 1 here in the crowd. Exactly. So we have just about as many voters out in the crowd right now as candidates for Ward 1 on stage. We have 4 people here, but one of them is my 15-year-old daughter, so she's not voting quite yet. Yes. So the issue that I have is that Ward 1 is often very disconnected from the rest of the city. And it's no one's fault, but it is something that we need to work on and make sure that we're all working together as one community, and I want to put Ward 1 on that.
This question goes first to Ward 1, and Mr. Cropper answers first. The question is, how would you work to address rising utility costs and rising city property taxes for residents while ensuring viable, reliable infrastructure?
You're gonna have to say that one again.
One more time.
One more time.
The question is, how would you address rising utility costs and property taxes while ensuring reliable city infrastructure?
Well, I think for too many years now, the city has relied on property values to basically pay, $158 million budget. I personally own 5 residences in the city of Fredericksburg, and I've seen my property values more than double twice now over the last 20 years. So I think the city needs to be looking at bringing in more businesses into the city. More small businesses like Trader Joe's, things that don't have a huge footprint like Wegmans, but they can fit downtown. Downtown is a wonderful place. I've lived on Caroline Street, I've lived on Princess Anne Street, but I've also seen many areas of both that could be used for better use. Things like the Relax Inn, that particular area, I can see the city providing better zoning to bring in and encourage small businesses that would actually take off the pressure from our residents on their property taxes. As far as utility costs, that is something I personally don't have anything at this time. It's something I would definitely have to research on how the city council would have any impact on utility cost.
It's a challenging one, principally because it's already been stated. It's all about real estate taxes and things like that. But if everybody is leaning forward in 5 or 6 years, probably more like about 7, once the data center's in, there's funding that's going to come in, which, okay, we can use it for schools, we can use it for our infrastructure, all right? I think that there's technology out there that we've got to figure out how we want to invest in. When we look at, not just the power grid or the water and sewage, I think that there's a commitment that we need to make to the overall, infrastructure base. And we just haven't done that. So when we're sitting here and we're talking about how would we improve that, and how would we do that with the current, funding that comes in, we do need to look at small business. We do need to look at, and that's what the small area plans are all about, is how do you really build up each one of these 10 areas here within the city. And it does include a business aspect to it. But really, how do you entice that? But that's only a small part. There's still some other things that have to be done when you start talking about the infrastructure here in the city. So we got a lot of work to do there.
First of all, I'll echo David's wanting this for Trader Joe's. And I do like how we get to say Trader Joe's, but those on council can't say that because of legal reasons. They have to say specialty grocer. So anyway, that kind of gets to the point of we need to make Fredericksburg attractive to people that want to spend their money here, right? So bring in businesses that are destinations for people that don't necessarily live in Fredericksburg. Bring people in from Stafford and Spotsylvania. Have them spend their money here so that they're relieving us from some of our own tax burden. And let's talk about data centers for a second. we do have a lot of work that we need to do over the next few years, not just about the infrastructure side of it, but how we're going to spend the money and what does the money actually look like. Because we've heard the top line number of $60 million, but that isn't quite exactly accurate all the time. It depends on how fast the data centers get built, what equipment is going into the data center, how fast does that equipment depreciate. So what you're going to have is basically ups and downs every year for how much revenue you're going to get. So what we need to do is figure out over the next few years how to take apart that incoming revenue and figure out what is consistent and we can spend on things like public education and public safety, and what is less consistent and we can use for infrastructure improvements, especially with water and sewer, sidewalks, walkability, everything like that. And finally, on those boom years, provide property tax relief to Fredericksburg residents.
I would tackle it like, I'm going to tackle my answer like from a small business perspective. If I depend on just the people that walk in my door at the restaurant to make all of my revenue and people stop walking in the door, then I have an issue. If Fredericksburg depends solely on property taxes for the bulk of its funding, to fund all of our goods and services, then property taxes are going to continue to go up, utilities are going to continue to go up so that we can pay for the things that we need. We must find other sources of revenue. Data center, for example, would give us that. We also need to look at projects like adaptive reuse that would take something that is gaining the city $0 in taxes and bring in taxes from that. The pressure has to come off of the consumer, and it's only by a variety of means of getting funding that we are then going to be able to turn around and support the city with things like social services, better schools, more housing stock. Those are the things that will attract the businesses that we then need to improve our revenue. It's all connected. We can't do one without the other. We can't just have more businesses without also having places for the people who work in those businesses to live. Everything is connected, and if we don't bring in different sources of revenue, then we're going to crush under the pressure of property taxes.
The city has been very focused on their comp plan and the small area plan, but what we've never done in this city is have a strategic financial plan. Every company in the world that has more than 20 employees does that. When I lived in Prince William County, they had a revolving committee that worked on that every 3 years. And it got down to the nitty-gritty of what kind of businesses are you going to bring in? How much are you going to have as far as transportation for these employees that are going to come in? And what are we going to do and go out and seek businesses that we need? We have a very robust tourism department, but we don't have a whole big department going out and working on our financial needs. We keep talking about maybe converting Central Park to more houses. Well, Central Park is a very good place for us to start focusing on what can we do there financially. What can we do like Stafford has done to bring in a lot of the tech companies to support a lot of the new innovations that are going on in this area. So I really urge the city to take a look at that and to really focus on where can we go financially, where can we do this.
First and foremost, we need to be doing more long-term planning than we do. Basically, we budget from year to year and go, oh, we got enough money for this, we got enough money for that. And we pay, and if we don't, we just kick the can down the road. And we've kicked a lot of stuff down the road, and we've got a lot of stuff that's hitting us all at one time. Your utility bills are going up in the next few years. Nothing you can do about that because we're still raising money for the wastewater treatment plant. And one area we can deal with infrastructure is cost. Spotsylvania County is getting an additional 4.5 million gallons a day for roughly $100 million. The city is getting 1.5 million gallons additional capacity For originally, it was $200 million price tag. It was value engineered down to 169. And if anybody can tell me what was value engineered out of the project, please raise your hand. We also built a school for over $400 a square foot, where the average school built in Commonwealth, Virginia is roughly $250 a square foot. So one area we can really start looking at infrastructure is what we're paying for it. And then finally, we need to be proactive with economic development. Right now, we sit down and wait for developers to bring projects to us that are market-driven. They want to make their money. They're not interested in what the city wants. If we want it, we got to go out and get it. We originally got incentives to get our economic development staff to go out into the world and recruit and get businesses to come here instead of sitting on our hands waiting to see what the next developer is going to bring. And finally, just one last on the data center, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, and that's right the road we're going down right now. Everybody just seems to think that that's going to be the silver bullet, and it is not going to be the silver bullet long term.
So I saw this Venn diagram once, and it said property taxes, services and infrastructure, housing density. And it was one of those Venn diagrams where it's where does it overlap? And it is a challenging thing. If I wanted to live in a rural community and I wanted to have low taxes, I would expect that I would drive my own trash to the dump, right? That would be an example of low services. But Fredericksburg is a city, it is an independent city that I think should strive to deliver a high quality of services in our schools, in our physical infrastructure, including our wastewater treatment plant, and in our other infrastructure like our quality of life in our parks. To do that, we need to balance those other two things, our taxes and our density, which also equates to a mix of commercial and residential density. The commercial market is different. We don't go to stores. We shop online. And our zoning code today reflects an environment that was the economy of 20 years ago. It needs to be updated to more accurately reflect what is the market. Our comprehensive plan has done that. Our comprehensive plan sets a wonderful vision, and I was very pleased to be a part of that as part when I was on the planning commission, that outlines what we want our future economy, what our future corridors to look like. But our zoning code is not yet updated to reflect that. So developers are confused as to what we want, and they don't know how to give it to us. So I think that the answer is to make sure that our codes allow for the development that we've already said that we want, that hopefully ideally finds the center of that Venn diagram.
We certainly need to adjust our codes and zoning to allow a multitude of different businesses and residents to come in and a lot of programs. Yes, we are going to get money from the data center, but that is not the only thing that we should rely on. We should be coming up with other ways to get money, and I wholeheartedly agree about taking our underused buildings and revitalizing them. I live downtown, and if you walk down any street really, you can see how many buildings are completely vacant. You can see how many businesses have rooms that are above them that have nothing in it, or areas below that are disgusting and have not been touched in many years. We need to be utilizing the space that we have currently and allowing for new spaces to be built as well. And let me make sure I say everything for the question this time. We also need businesses near homes, small businesses that people can walk to so that they're not driving to go get a jug of milk when they need it for a recipe suddenly. So the zoning and ordinances that we can allow to give people the resources that they need right next to them to raise up taxes and other money that we need for the city. But if we are building, we need better buses.
To the question of rising utility costs, I think a broader range of housing stock will help on, because if you're speaking of, I'm trying to interpret the question the way that you answered, but if you're speaking to the point of the impact on utility costs to the average Joe in the city. I'm thinking of housing costs because if, for one, there's a lack of like studio apartments and those type of scenarios. So when you have new development, there's an opportunity, maybe you can get those. We just had a project that came to City Council the other day that had 2-on-2, an option for 2-on-2, and if folks don't know what 2-on-2s are, 2-on-2s are kind of townhouse type scenarios, if I'm saying it right, but it's almost like a duplex, but it doesn't look like a duplex. So it's a 2-over-2. So if you hear this 2-over-2 or 2-on-2, if you hear that, that's what that is. And if you go to the Embry Mill neighborhood in Stafford, they have, in that area, it's an area off of Courthouse Road. Sorry, don't quote me on Embry Mill. It's an area off of Courthouse Road that has a bunch of 2-over-2s. And for the impact to utility costs, I believe if you had a different option, maybe somebody who may need a 600 square feet or 700 square feet unit may be forced to live in a 1,300 square foot or 1,000 square foot apartment. And for utility costs to heat and cool that place or whatever it is, I think if you had if we had more housing stock, then that would help. The answer, that was that fast? I didn't see the yellow.
One of the things that I've learned in many years of teaching is that attention spans are limited, particularly for classes later in the day. And so what I want to do is use the chair's prerogative to call a 5-minute stretch break. So everybody can get up, walk around a little bit, and then we can reconvene with some more questions. This question goes first to Ward 3. Matt Kelly gets the first response. What does ethical governance mean to you? And how would you ensure transparency in decision-making, particularly when it comes to potential conflicts of interest or campaign contributions coming before the city?
I'll hit transparency first. My total philosophy that I've had since I came on this board, that I was on city council, excuse me, one of the things I found very quickly is the need to understand that we are here to serve you. You are the ones that we were trying to provide the services for to make your life better. And you need to be involved in the discussions that we make here. And I'm not necessarily saying we're always going to agree, but everybody needs to be at the table. One of the things that has amazed me in my career in city council is I look out here and I look at people who have expertise that I do not have, that I can sit down with and talk about an issue. I've got people here that I know don't agree with me on issues. I want to sit down there and talk to them. I want them to challenge what I think, give me a different perspective that I can incorporate. Tom Payne said it best, through argument and debate, the best solutions come forward. With regards to funding, I'm very upfront when I write down on my sheet. Everybody can see who and where I get my money from. That's candidate to candidate who they're willing to accept funds from, and it's up to you as voters to feel whether or not they're taking money from certain groups impacts your thinking on who to vote for. But at the end of the day, you guys are supposed to be in charge. We need to listen to you, answer your questions, address your concerns, so when you leave the room after we make a decision, you might not necessarily be happy, but you felt you've been heard and your concerns addressed, and that's where you build consensus, and that's when we get things done.
I post so as a current city council member, my email and my phone number are listed on the website, and I encourage any and everyone to access both of those and reach out to me. I am a reachable person, and I am a human being, and I am your neighbor, and I want to hear from you. And so that's how I believe in transparency. Is it's as easy as calling me and us having a conversation, and I'm happy to take those calls anytime after my day job. In terms of ethics, I, as a certified planner, I'm an NAACP certified planner, subscribe to a code of ethics. We have to swear to it. We renew it annually. We take an updated annual training every year in ethical behavior and how we will practice planning. And although we do not have one for council, I wouldn't be opposed to one. I think making sure that we maintain a fair level of governance that respects the level of responsibility that we have as a council would be a good thing.
I think the city has done what they can in terms of being transparent. They have the emails and the text that they can send out. However, it's opt-in and not everybody subscribes to those. So it is then on us to not just send an occasional flyer saying, hey, sign up for this thing. It's about going to these neighborhoods and speaking to those organizations. What do you need? What can we get you? And inviting those people to come to council meetings and other planning that happens in and around the city so that they can then relay that information to the citizens that don't want to stay until 9 p.m. listening to city council talk about data centers. So we need to involve the citizens as much as possible, and we do not do that right now. I mean, look at all the empty seats here. This is one of the most important things in our city right now, and half of the seats are filled. Why? Well, I'm sure half of our 30,000 people didn't even know that this was happening tonight. So it is all about reaching people in their homes and speaking to them and their community organizations.
Thank you for ethical government, and it seems this buzz always goes around about city council and, oh, you guys are not being transparent. I don't know where that rumor started and why, because everything is documented. We're the most documented people in the city of Fredericksburg. As for conflicts of interest or whatever, let me stick on that part. Everything is documented that we do. You hear about, oh, they didn't discuss this, they didn't do that. Check the city minutes and see what we did. I don't understand where that comes from, and so many people in the city, you know, they repeat it, and it's not true. Our work sessions are public. Our emails are accessible. It's called Freedom of Information Act. I know a lot of folks, they probably have Freedom of Information Act parties, and they just ask for everything, and you get it. So I don't know what else you can do to be transparent. That's true, you get it. The emails are there, and they're accessible, and once you put a request in, you get it. So I don't understand that part of the logic, what folks think about information. As for when it comes to anything that goes with elected officials, folks are able and willing to do whatever they want to do for, I guess, candidates that they want around as well. So you can't do anything about that as well, but that's also something else that's documented. So we have all kinds of reports there. You can check out everything on us. We're an open book, and I don't know why folks sometimes think that we're not. So that's all I have.
So to repeat the question, what does ethical governance mean to you as a city council member, and how would you ensure transparency in your decision making, particularly when it comes to potential conflicts of interest or campaign contributions from entities coming before the city?
Ethics drill down basically comes down to doing what's right. We are the voice of our city. So when you're an elected official, that's all you are. You're just the voice of the people that you're serving. I believe that anybody who wants to talk to the person that they're representing should be able to. There should be office hours within the city council to where if somebody wants to meet with their representative, they can do so not just via email or when the city council meets. So I think that would also help with perception of transparency. When you're able to talk to your representative or any representative on city council about your needs. And when votes are made, if you're asked why you voted a certain way, don't be afraid to say why. Don't try to hide why you voted one way or not. You're not here to be everyone's friend. You're here to do what's right. As far as transparency for donations, me personally, anybody, that wanted to donate to me, their name, everything's filed. So you clearly see. Even if it's a group of people, I make sure that that group of people is in a position where their names are made public. So there's no secret donations from PACs that nobody knows who they are.
This is an interesting and great question. I've lived the last 45 years under the shroud of ethics. First as a retired military officer, and now as a federal employee. And it doesn't just go with my job, it actually goes with my life. Because I can't step out there and do something that is not reportable, which goes to the clearances I have for the information I get to see at the highest levels. So when we start talking about ethics, it's been my life. It's my lifeblood along with service, because I don't want to lose the things that I like, and that's serving the country and serving my community. So I think that there are things that always can be done. There are things the council can do. You've heard that everything is open. You've heard about having office hours, which I would tell you would be challenging for me with my job, but I will tell you that up front. But I do take time off, and I'll be at home and be available for folks. When you start talking about donations and things like that, I can't speak for everybody else. You're going to do what you're going to do, okay? And you do have to pay for your candidacy. I'm paying for my own, okay? So that's just where I'm at. But there's always something that can be done. We don't have all the answers, but I want to believe that there's ethical behavior going on. Thank you.
So I'm in an interesting position with this right now as the chair of the Fredericksburg City School Board. We have a couple members of the school board that fell short of their ethical obligations. And it is incumbent upon us up here on the stage, for all of us that serve on city council and that want to serve on city council, that we constantly remember that we are here to serve people, not serve ourselves. And that always needs to be remembered. That is the paramount role that we have, and we must always remember that. So what did we do on the school board? We made some changes with some rules. There was some out of control spending, so we stopped that. We made it so that decisions had to be made transparently, in open public, and that it would be voted on in public. In addition, I'm scheduling a work session right now, and I'm trying to do this the best I can with all the schedules that I'm juggling right now, to get this work session scheduled so that we have a norms, protocols, and conflict of interest meeting with the school board in an open and public session. In addition, for transparency in decision making, it's important to make sure that we're getting all the voices that are in our communities to come to the table and tell us what's going on. This is one of the things that I've done on the school board. We've had a transportation issue with the buses lately, and I've been very upfront with telling parents, send us emails, fill our inboxes up. We need every data point and every story that you have in order to fix the situation that we're in right now. And going back to transparency, I know that there were some questions about the Ward 3 vacancy on City Council. So we're actually working really hard right now to do our own Ward 3 vacancy on the school board in the most transparent way possible. We're doing everything in open session. We're putting all the resumes on the website as soon as the deadline ends, and we're going to do this right.
So I feel like I'm a pretty capable person. I could read the information that I need to prepare for something and talk to people and make a decision. When someone inserts a lie into the scenario, that's where I get thrown off every single time. For me, transparency is honesty. And so if we're all being honest with each other, then I think that we all have the information that we need to have dialogue, to agree, to disagree, to make decisions. It's essential. And that's how I live my life. That's how I would serve on council. In terms of campaign contributions, I had someone recently question the fact that I had first of all, I don't have to be transparent because I report every single month, like every candidate does, to the Virginia Department of Campaign Finances or whatever it's called, and you can see exactly who's given what and how much they've given and all of that. But I recently had someone question the fact that I got a campaign contribution from someone who works for a law firm that supports data centers. That person also has 2 kids in public schools. That person also has a wife who works with the continuum of care. That person also is a champion for small business. All of those things intersect with the things that I believe. I think transparency is about being honest, and I think why someone supports me with their dollars, as you said, we need them in order to run a successful campaign, is their personal business. It doesn't make me beholden to them, and I'll continue to serve honestly.
Well, first I want to say that I have not or will ever take campaign contributions from developers or data center interests. I take only grassroots campaign funds. I've had many campaign funds that are $10, $15, $20, and I value those as much as I value the larger campaign funds I've gotten. I also want to talk about just the transparency of our city council and hearing us. I was at the data center hearing in January where hundreds of people came to speak. And the hearings went on till 1 o'clock in the morning. And then finally we finished. And then city council proceeded to vote. They didn't thank the audience for coming. They didn't thank us for the time spent there, for our input. They just continued to vote 7-0 as they voted many times this year. The other thing that I want to talk about is the fact that they wouldn't even have a town hall for the data centers. So I rented Dorothy Hart with my own money and invited everybody to come, and then the mayor did come. And she brought her list and handed it out to everybody, and we welcomed her. But why didn't the city have that forum? Why did I have to pay for it? Why did I have to arrange it? Why did I, a private citizen, open it up to the community?